Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the TeamSpeak TL Open number 19. This is match number 1, the Foreigner match. Game number 2, we have imba.Strelok up 1-0 on Shattered Temple in the top in this beautiful teal Terran color. His opponent switching over to purple, ESC.GoOdy.
Yeah, I was very confused actually last game by the dark blue and the purple. The SCVs almost looks the same, but I'm glad that... No, and I'm angry at Goody because he's taking my color.
Purple is your color?
It's my color.
Did you
my
stamp
color.
it?
I already had it in Supreme Commander, and I'm not gonna be... Nobody's gonna take it away from me, ever.
It reminds me of in Street Fighter when people stole colors and then put up fake vids so that they could copy. Now there's gonna be all these fake purple Terrans popping up. Oh, TLO's back? But he's in gold. What happened?
Well, what can I say?
That's actually going to be me. We can see Strelok taking his gas first, so this is a bit of a newer build where players have been doing this, especially on the Korean server I've seen this. You get their initial factory out just that much faster, saying that Marines don't matter too much, they want to get the factory.
Yeah, I like it a lot. The biggest downside of it is your opponent knows what's going on because you're not going to have a Marine as fast.
Right.
Unless Goody trusts it's not to scout. It's going to be pretty simple. But... yeah, I dislike it because of that. I preferred gas before barracks builds a long time, but I didn't like that SV my base so much.
And we see, we can see that Strelok is, I believe he's doing this build because we're on Shattered Temple. There's not a lot of opportunities for quick rushes here. Even any sort of air rush, like Banshee rush, yeah, the threat is there, but it's not as big as on some other maps. So wanting to get the tech up very quickly, sacrificing a few Marines, probably a good trade-off. I haven't really gone through it completely to see how much economy you give up, not getting that orbital up as quickly, but the thing is, in the early game, gas reigns supreme, so making the trade minerals for gas is probably going to be a favorable one in TVT.
Well, I think it's a little bit of a misconception actually that you waste any economy. First you get the orbital later, but you're gonna have one SCV more. And it's gonna be like one mule load maybe later, so really it doesn't really matter at all. It's gonna maybe make a difference of like 20 minerals, if even, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, let's take a look at the composition here right now. Strelok has only one Marine out, meanwhile Goody has 2, but take a look at the factory timings. Goody is now just passing 500 HP, Strelok has just passed 1,000, so that means any sort of follow-up for Strelok is gonna come fairly quickly, or that much more quickly than it is for Goody. His factory now completing, and Starport gonna go up.
Yeah, it just makes you so much faster, and you're a little bit slow maybe in... like in the very early game, you're not gonna have any units, right? But because of what you were saying, you're pretty far away, it doesn't really matter. And then you're just gonna be very safe, but also very aggressive, the mid-early game, and that's very powerful. Like.
And you were saying about this early scout, how it can really mess you up. If we look at Goody's vision, actually, and take a look inside Strelok's base, it looks like he has no vision of either refinery being up. So he sees the quick factory, so yes, he can get that knowledge up, but not 100% fully aware. And sometimes, if you move in, as a commentator, you see, oh, he saw the quick factory, he knows what's happening. Sometimes they move in, and something just doesn't click. They see, okay, a factory is building, but you don't put 1 and 1 or 2 and 2 together to realize, oh, that's a quick factory. He's obviously gone gas first.
Well, yeah, you would be not that smart in a mirror matchup to not realize. It's kind of hot sometimes in like PvT or like CVP or CVT to notice something is off, but in a mirror matchup, and if you build a factory as yourself, you should definitely notice. So I hope Goody is smart enough to do that.
We've got the Banshee coming out. Cloak about 50% done for Strelok. Let's see where he rallies this Banshee. He's got it, as of now, sent over into 9. Does he even know where Goody is at this point? Strelok, no. It's like he's not aware.
Well, he kind of knows, right? Because his
Hellion was fixing the rally.
Yeah, and the Hellion was fighting at the ramp, kind of. He didn't see any buildings, but he saw units, so he knows what's...
Looks like he's going to do the old school two-pronged attack. He's got the Hellions getting map control in the middle. I believe he's going to try to draw the Marines out and flank up with the Hellions. Unfortunately for him, there's a bunker up as well as a Raven out already for GoOdy, followed up by a Viking. So he, you know what, he's actually probably going to lose a little bit to this cloak before the Viking gets out, but then that's completely going to neutralize it. Strelok moving in with this Banshee, going to start to go to work on those units, try to draw the Marines out, but he's losing energy very quickly, and with the Raven out, that's going to shut that down. He's got to do as much as he can with this Banshee because the Viking is now out.
He's gonna lose the Banshee, a little bit of miscontrol. He should have pulled out a little bit earlier, but 7 kills on a Banshee, that's kind of, that's pretty solid. He only killed 3 SCVs. Strelok, however, having a command center almost ready himself, so from here on, you're gonna just have a pretty open game. A second Banshee coming in, taking out 1 more Marine. Not overcommitting there, I like that a lot, just forcing GoOdy to stay in his base. What you shouldn't do is sacrifice your second Banshee just to kill, like, even if you kill 3 SCVs, it's mostly not worth it to actually lose your Banshee because you want to keep your opponent in his base, you want to keep him afraid, and use the Banshee mostly for map control and being safe yourself.
Yeah, it's the exact same as Mutalisk, it's the exact same as early Hellions. You want them just to give that map control. If he loses that to GoOdy, and then GoOdy can, you know, regain his focus, keep all his units at his choke, and just focus on getting his infrastructure going and putting his army wherever he wants. That's such a big advantage compared to now, whereas GoOdy still has his command center in his main base. He's still got some of his army. He's got these 2 Vikings and this Raven, as well as a Marine sitting at his main base, and he's got forced to get an engineering bay as well, just to be safe, and that's just such a hassle.
Yeah, it is annoying as hell. However, one thing is really speaking for GoOdy, having a Raven with 200 energy ready, such a huge thing if you actually use it correctly. Having 2 PDDs, a Viking fight, or if there are Marauders involved even, is such a great asset in a battle, or having 4 auto turrets. It's insanely good actually, people don't realize how good it is.
Yeah, that's actually extremely true, and you know, PDD may come into play as we can see Strelok is transitioning into 2 barracks with Tech Lab add-ons. Let's see if he starts producing Marauders out of there. I mean, it's gotta be, there's no other reason.
Yeah.
As well as a 3rd barracks going up with a Tech Lab, and a 4th barracks going up with a Tech Lab. No add-on on the factory, and only Viking medevac coming out of the starport. So this is a bit of a strange composition. We've seen for a while a tank Marine medevac has reigned supreme, but looks like Strelok is taking it back to the Marauder.
Yeah, what I would like to see from him now is taking a 3rd base, just using Marauders as an intermediate measure to like gain map control and take a 3rd base, and force GoOdy to stay defensive and then switch to tanks, because if you're gonna stay on Marauders, really there's not much you can do against a Marine tank army, or even against a metal army.
I'd like to see Strelok, yeah, as you said, take a 3rd base. I mean, he's dropping, that's okay, but look at GoOdy's position. I mean, Strelok can't absolutely know this, but GoOdy has no intention of going anywhere.
Well,
like,
it's GoOdy.
Yeah, I mean, and you could know that when you join the game. So Strelok could easily just throw down a 3rd base anywhere, really, and feel comfortable with it. But instead, he's trying to be aggressive, trying to harass with these drops. It looks like it's actually going to work, but oh, there's a turret there as well.
Oh, should realize that there. Oh my god, he drops into the turrets. He's losing the medevac, forcing also SCVs to retreat to the natural. Though that's at least a little bit damage done there, but not nearly enough there. I think it's looking very good for GoOdy now.
It looks like Strelok has kind of caught wind of the situation. He has broken down his gold rocks, trying to do some Banshee harassment there as he stops the SCV on the 3rd command center for GoOdy. GoOdy is forced to scan and try to take that out despite having a Raven there. Now I want to see Strelok taking this base. He's got a 3rd command center on the way, but a little bit behind. Looks like it's just going to be Marauders here for Strelok. He's continuing to produce Marauders. He's just completed Stim and is continuing with a lot of medevacs.
The point defense drone is going to be sick. I cannot emphasize enough. If GoOdy uses it correctly, it's going to be blocking off over 400 initial damage, and that's like 2 defensive matrix for anybody who played Brood War, so that is going to be so insane.
And GoOdy is sneaking in with some blue flames, taking out 2 mules in one shot going into the natural and trying to take out as many SCVs as he can, trying to stack them up. Looks like he's taken out 7, 6, and 4. That's 17 if my math is right. And that's a lot of SCVs, but look at this counter drop coming in from Strelok. Looks like he wants to try the old elevator or the 3-centimeter drop wherever you're from. Dropping those Marauders in, trying to take down the Thor, but the Thor running away. I think Goody may be able to hold this, and he's dropping that PDD, dropping a second one to negate all of the Marauder shots. Now they're forced to retreat. At the end of this, let's look at the income tab. A full 9 Harvester advantage for Goody.
I actually expected Goody to be even more ahead now, but still very solid position for Goody now. He has his third base up. He can just take down those gold rocks. He's gonna have a third base ready. He should start a little bit more aggressively on his upgrades. I'd like to see his second armory even, but +1 almost finished as well. Finally, Strelok is making that switch to tanks himself now, but he more or less just wasted his mobile army and not accomplished anything. Now trying to kill those back rocks and being a little bit sneaky, but I don't know, Goody just sits at his natural, so I don't see that happening.
Yeah, Strelok really needs to start getting more aggressive with his expanding. Look at this. 3 Vikings for Goody coming in uncontested, taking out the medevac of Strelok right in the center. Strelok floating over to the gold. Goody has had this 3rd orbital command up for quite a while, but he's just, you know, he's so safe. He doesn't feel comfortable floating it out. That's just the style he plays. Meanwhile, Goody floating his Vikings in to scout the 3rd base of Strelok, so he's completely aware of where Strelok is in terms of income. As you mentioned, switching over to tanks is Strelok. He's got 3 full factories with Tech Lab add-ons producing tanks. I don't know how well that's going to fare for him going up against an already entrenched mech army of Goody.
Well, actually, like a tank bio army is really strong in defending. It's not so good at attacking because you're just gonna run in so many tanks, but
right.
you have tanks positioned and you have Marauders in front of it, so if he wants to attack you, he needs to deploy his tanks, else he's just gonna die against the Marauders pretty hard. So if he plays the positioning right, Strelok should be in pretty okay shape.
And I was just going to say, I don't think Goody is going to attack for the next 5 minutes, but look at this. He's rolling out with a 150 supply army. He's lost all his Vikings. Going to lose some Banshees as well, and Strelok is going to pre-siege, I hope. There he goes, sieging up. Goody is going to have to try to find the small hole in this armor. Strelok is dancing back and forth, and here we go, moving towards each other. Hellion's going to fire up. There goes the Stim trying to take out all the tanks. All the tanks siege up. The Marauders forced to run back. And looks like Goody is going to press forward. I don't know if I like this attack. He probably should have pulled back and attacked all as one, but he moved in his bio, unsupported by the tanks. Goody is still trying to find position, moving westward to the gold, and there is a spot here where he can siege up and rain down on these SCVs, and that's precisely what he's going to do.
If Strelok would actually have a medevac, not almost dead, he could do a Marauder job on those tanks, but now Goody is picking up the turret, making it almost impossible for Strelok to regain that position. Beautiful positioning by Goody, nice play. Having a arc there with his tanks that it makes it impossible for him to move in there at all.
Yeah, and Goody is heavily reinforcing this. Meanwhile, trying to take his 3rd base, but one Marauder has been shutting that down for quite some time. We can notice there's no SCVs mining there and about 500 HP missing on the command center. Hellion comes to snipe that off. Scans going off to provide vision for both players. And Strelok is forced to give up his gold expansion, even temporarily. Taking a look at the income tab, we can see it's not playing that big of a role quite yet. The Harvester count, a little bit low for a 20-minute game, but there have been some blows exchanged back and forth.
Yeah, it doesn't really come down to income, but the mere fact of what both players have. And Goody has an insanely strong army. A lot of supply in Vikings, which won't help, and we do have another engagement going very well for Goody. Takes out a few tanks with some Marauders, gets Hellions there, but they're gonna be blocked by a Marauder, though that's not gonna be doing so much damage. Getting 2 SCVs, definitely not worth it, but he could push in with his entire army there now. Strelok's tanks are out of position.
Yeah, that was a really strange situation because Strelok looked like he wanted to either counterattack or begin cutting off reinforcements. He unsieged everything and moved towards the middle, and Goody just leapfrogged just a little bit into the gold to get this nice siege position, and that is going to be really frustrating for Strelok to deal with, getting pulled into siege shots. This Thor has 9 kills, the majority of them Vikings, taking away vision from Strelok. Just such a frustrating situation for Strelok to be in.
Yeah, now even Thor running into the mineral line, just taunting him there. He's gonna lose it, not gonna do so much damage, but what does it matter even at this point? SC2 trying to go for a counter-attack, but an unsupported army of 6 tanks, I don't see it doing anything really. It's not gonna matter. He's already intercepting it with Hellions plus tanks.
And these tanks are in no man's land. Once they get caught here, it's going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, for them to retreat. Getting completely caught off. Looks like SC2 was not watching those. He's going to lose the majority of them. Even Hellion's going to work. And meanwhile, GoOdy is working on the killing blow, taking down the rocks on the western side, which gives him access to the third base of SC2. And once that goes down, I don't think SC2's going to have any other thing but to chap the GG and take this to game number 3. He's going to try to break the gold one more time with Marauders, and he is going to successfully take that out, but he's going to lose his third base if it's not lifted off immediately.
Yeah, I can only see SC2 going for one more encounter just for his honor and pride, but after that, there's not much left for him to do. Just leave, collect your mind, collect your thoughts, and go bash into the next game.
So, I mean, GoOdy did exactly what everyone expected him to do. SC2 calling GG. We're going to take it to game number 3 here. I feel like SC2 had a nice opening, but I don't know. When he tried to go for that aggression, you know, that was a bit of a misstep for me when he tried to do that elevator drop into the main base. But the bigger just how slowly he was expanding. He had complete map control for so long, and he didn't really put it into his favor.
Especially against GoOdy.
I know, you know what you're gonna get, right?
Yeah, what I do against GoOdy is I get 4 bases up before he has even a third, and then I just keep throwing retarded units at him. I just make stuff in Marauders, and I keep attacking, and I lose like 30 Marauders and kill 2 tanks, and I'm like, okay, that's good, it's GoOdy.
It's a good
It doesn't matter, because he's on 2 base, I'm on 4 base, and I just need to keep the tank count down. It's a little bit like in StarCraft 1 and PT. And you just wanted to keep attacking Terran with like a shitload of units. You lose your entire army, but at least you killed 4 tanks, so that doesn't... You know what I mean, right?
I know exactly what you mean.
As long as the tank count doesn't go too high, what can you do with a metal army? Nothing. Nothing really.
It reminds me of ZVT, actually, where I would lose my entire army, but I would save my defilers and kill like a couple science vessels, and I'm like, alright, I'm ahead.
Yeah, makes perfect sense, actually.
Genius sense. And so we're going to be at 1-1, and this is scary because we're going to be taking it to the largest map that I know of, which is going to be Tal'Darim Altar for game number 3. And, you know, that's a little bit scary, but a little bit exciting. I think this gives SC2 more of a chance. He can really spread his wings out. He can really dig himself in. However, I have seen GoOdy play a little bit aggressive here and siege up on the low ground very aggressively. Now, being a TVT, I think SC2 is going to be able to defend that easily, but it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Couldn't agree more. Anything can happen in TVT, but Tal'Darim, just the architecture of the map, I don't like metal at all. It becomes strong as soon as you hit 200 supply, because you have a lot of watchtowers, and then you actually have enough units to like be aggressive and have presence on the map, because you can just siege up everywhere and move slowly. But if you're like around 150 with metal against Bio on Tal'Darim, where you can flank from 18 sides, it doesn't matter if you have a tank army, it's just gonna die. And your opponent can take so many bases so quickly if you're not aware of it, and play metal, which is sluggish, so slow, and Tal'Darim is giant. It takes like a minute for a tank to cross.
TLO, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you're the first person who said to GoOdy that metal isn't good on this map, or in this matchup, or in this game. I don't think it's going to hold him back.
Yeah, I have my doubts as well, so let's just go into it and see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
We probably already know.
Casting from the future we are, so we're going to take it to the rubber match. We're at 1-1. Going to be moving into game number 3 right after this.